Have you ever paused to consider the hidden threads, the ones connecting ancient art, maybe profound esoteric wisdom, and even that? Well, that tantalizing possibility of contact with intelligences beyond our ordinary perception.
It's a question that really pulls you in, doesn't it? It draws seekers into realms that feel, well, far stranger and maybe more profound than the everyday.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack this then. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive. We're looking into a truly fascinating and somewhat enigmatic set of sources,
Right.
specifically excerpts from a document known as the Lam Statement by Kenneth Grant. And this isn't your average historical text, or some philosophical treatise.
Not at all.
It's more like a meticulously crafted guide. It goes into the arcane, the magical, and yes, even what some might term the extraterrestrial. It's a document that suggests reality is maybe far more porous than we typically imagine, and that certain symbols, certain practices can actually serve as, well, literal doorways to other dimensions of consciousness.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how this material powerfully bridges several really intriguing fields.
Yeah.
We're looking at the rich history of Western esotericism, particularly the foundational work of Aleister Crowley and the Ordo Templi Orientis, the O.T.O.
The O.T.O.
But it also delves deep into this concept of establishing contact with non-human intelligences. And crucially, this isn't just like theoretical musing.
No.
The document serves as a detailed guide for a very specific magical practice. It outlines a precise framework for direct experiential engagement with what its adherents consider to be a profound entity. It's a blend of, well, high philosophy and very practical instruction. Makes it exceptionally unique.
So our mission today is basically to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge from this statement. We'll be shedding light on its curious origins, its stated purpose, and, the extraordinary claims it makes. We'll explore the central figure of Lam, delve into the intricate magical procedures described, and try to uncover the compelling reasons why this Cult of Lam was officially founded within the O.T.O.
Sounds good.
Think of this deep dive as your shortcut, maybe, to understanding a very niche, yet, well, potentially profoundly influential corner of modern occultism.
Yeah.
One that kind of astonishingly touches upon themes usually reserved for science fiction, but viewed through a distinctly magical lens, not a technological one.
Precisely. We're going to meticulously connect the dots between historical figures, ancient mystical concepts, practical magical instructions. All the while, we'll be considering the broader context of esoteric philosophy and that enduring human drive to understand what lies beyond our conventional perceptions.
Right.
And this raises a really important question. What exactly happens when deep mystical pursuit meets the idea of the alien?
Yeah, what does happen?
Is it a literal encounter, beings from another star system? Or is it more of a symbolic journey into the deepest, most unexplored parts of the human psyche, maybe unlocking potentials we hadn't imagined?
Good question.
The document we have today, well, it's nuanced, but it leans pretty heavily into the former, the literal encounter idea. But, and this is key, with a radical redefinition of what alien truly implies.
Okay, so let's start our journey into this enigma of Lam with a striking visual. The document really centers around a particular portrait.
Lam portrait, yeah.
You're presented with this profoundly striking, almost haunting image, a head that is distinctly egg-shaped, with subtle, ethereal, almost unnerving features that hint at something profoundly non-human. And this isn't just a casual drawing, is it?
No, it's explicitly described as a direct portrait of Lam itself, a tangible representation of this mysterious entity.
Right. And this image serves as the focal point for the whole communion procedure outlined in the statement. It's not just art, it's presented as a doorway.
Absolutely. And this particular portrait, as our sources reveal, it holds a truly curious and significant history.
Okay.
It was created by none other than Aleister Crowley himself, a figure synonymous with, the very foundations of modern occultism and the Ordo Templi Orientis.
Crowley, of course.
Crowley famously exhibited this portrait back in 1919 at his provocative Dead Souls exhibition in Greenwich Village, New York.
Wow, 1919.
And what's crucial here is that our sources explicitly link this artwork to his personal magical workings.
So it wasn't just art for art's sake.
Exactly. It indicates it wasn't simply an artistic endeavor or some flight of fancy, but a tangible result of his intense esoteric explorations.
Yeah.
Almost like a direct artifact from his mystical experiences, given concrete visual form.
Okay, so delving deeper into its origins, The document says this drawing came out of something Crowley called the Amanara working.
That's right, the Amanara working. This was apparently a series of intense magical visions, profound communications that Crowley received through mediumship. This happened between 1918 and 1919. The source specifically mentions a figure known as the Camel, Roddy Minor, 99, who acted as the medium, the channel for these communications.
The Camel. Interesting name.
Isn't it? And it's genuinely fascinating to consider how such deeply personal, intense, mystical experiences could manifest into something so concrete and visually striking as this drawing.
Yeah, it suggests a really profound interaction, far beyond just imagination.
Definitely. And this Amanara working, it also coincided with an earlier mystical endeavor of Crowley's, known as the Ebeldis working. So it connects these two series of explorations in his magical life.
Right, so it's part of a larger pattern.
Seems so.
Right.
And the symbolism of the egg, especially what's called the egg of spirit, was really prominent in these workings.
You can see that in the portrait, the egg-shaped head.
You absolutely can. And this isn't just like poetic language. The key insight here seems to be that the egg of spirit isn't merely a symbolic shape. It's presented as a literal energetic container, a complete reality in itself holding potential for transformation and encounter.
A reality in itself. Wow.
Yeah. And Crowley's final vision during these workings, apparently in reference to a question about the egg, was stark and enigmatic. Something like, it's all in the egg, seeing the final curving vision of this being.
Implying the egg isn't just the form, but the whole reality of it.
That's the feeling, yeah. A microcosm containing the entirety of the being or the experience. And another key instruction Crowley apparently received explicitly from the Egyptian deity Thot.
Thought. Okay.
Was, "Thou art to go this way," a phrase directly linking to the very path or way that Lam is said to represent. It imbues the name with a kind of divine directive.
Okay, this is genuinely surprising, and maybe a little mind-bending, how the source doesn't just present this as art, but connects it so deeply to ancient wisdom in a specific transformative path.
Right.
Which naturally leads us to ask, what exactly does Lam mean in this Deborah context? Is it just a name Crowley came up with, or does it carry some hidden weight?
Etymologically?
Numerologically?
Well, if we connect this to the broader esoteric landscape, the name Lam itself is deeply symbolic. It's layered with profound meaning from various traditions.
Like what?
Our sources explicitly state it's a Tibetan word, meaning way or path.
Ah, Tibetan. Interesting.
Furthermore, the term Lama in Tibetan translates to he who goeth, which aligns perfectly with this concept of a journey, a spiritual direction, or a guide upon that journey.
Okay, he who goeth.
And it's also explicitly linked to the treader of the path, which is a specific and revered title of the gods of Egypt.
Egyptian links, too, so it pulls from different traditions.
Exactly, suggesting a connection to ancient wisdom traditions emphasizing spiritual evolution and purposeful movement. So this isn't just some random name plucked from obscurity. It feels imbued with a sense of deliberate spiritual guidance drawn from diverse esoteric lineages, signifying a path to be actively trodden.
And beyond the linguistic roots, you mentioned numerology.
Right. The name Lam also carries a significant numerological value within Kabbalistic phraseology.
Ah.
The number 71.
71.
For those familiar with numerology and gematria, numbers aren't just quantities, right? They hold specific meanings, vibrations.
Sure.
What's even more intriguing, and maybe a deliberate magical synchronicity, is that this numerical value, 71, corresponds to the very number of the book itself in some esoteric systems.
Whoa. So it's self-referential.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Implying a hidden mathematical key embedded within the document. It's a subtle nod to the intricate web of connections within the occult.
And Crowley himself, did he say where the drawing came from?
He left no explicit detailed record of its specific origin, but the source implies it was drawn from life.
From life. What does that mean in this context?
Well, that from life detail is incredibly significant because it suggests a direct, profound, and impactful personal experience of the entity, rather than just an imaginative sketch.
So a direct encounter.
It points towards that, yeah. An encounter so powerful it necessitated its physical representation, blurring the lines between the subjective and the objectively perceived.
It's remarkable how these elements, the portrait, the Tibetan word, the number 71, start to weave together. But where does it all converge? The source connects Lam to another major esoteric text, right?
This connection is absolutely crucial for understanding Lam's place within this esoteric framework. The Lam Statement explicitly links the portrait and the entire concept of Lam to H.P. Blavatsky's foundational theosophical text, The Voice of the Silence.
Blavatsky. Okay. The voice of the silence.
And for those acquainted with Aleister Crowley's system, this text is designated as Liber LXXX. That's Liber 80.
Liber 80. Got it.
In Crowley's system, Liber means book, and the Roman numerals denote its number in his comprehensive catalog of holy and magical texts. So Liber 80 signifies its immense importance within his own magical curriculum.
So placing it among his most revered work.
Exactly. The link between Lam and Blavatsky's text is therefore not a casual mention. It's fundamental to understanding Lam's central role in this specific esoteric tradition.
And the source describes Lam as more than just a symbol.
Far more. It's presented as a transmundane or extraterrestrial entity.
Transmundane, meaning beyond the ordinary world.
Precisely. Beyond our ordinary terrestrial world. Not necessarily in physical outer space, but perhaps in other dimensions, other planes of existence. And apparently, various groups of magicians have, over time, established rapport with it.
And Crowley used the portrait as a frontispiece for the voice of the silence.
He did. Which really underscores its central importance as a visual gateway, maybe, or a key to understanding the profound truths contained within that mystical text.
And symbolically, Lam represents several concepts in Crowley's own system.
Yes, several deeply significant ones. Like the dwarf self, which refers to the primal, fundamental, often hidden core of one's being.
Okay.
The unallied consciousness, implying a state of pure, untainted awareness, separate from ordinary thought.
Right.
Harpocrates, the Greek god of silence, who in Thelema represents the pure infant self and meditation beyond words.
Harpocrates, the silent god.
And Hadit, the infinitely small atomic point of view, the counterpart to Nuit, the infinite expanse.
Okay, so Lam isn't just an arbitrary image. It's a profound glyph, a key embodying these fundamental aspects of consciousness in Crowley's system.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
And further reinforcing the numerological link, the text notes that ALIS, the image of nothingness and silence, enumerates 71.
ALIS, another concept linked to 71.
Exactly. Drawing a direct parallel between Lam's numerical value and this other esoteric concept of primordial emptiness and silence, suggesting Lam is connected to the very fabric of existence and non-existence.
It's really starting to sound like Lam isn't simply an image, but a profound key, a key to unlocking something utterly other. But what kind of other are we really talking about here? Is it something from a different physical dimension, a distant planet? Or maybe even a radically different state of being entirely? The narrative seems to be pushing boundaries.
Well, this takes us directly to Kenneth Grant's significant involvement in this unfolding story.
Kenneth Grant, okay.
Our sources note that Crowley himself personally gave the original Lam drawing to Grant. This was in May of 1945.
Wow, Crowley gave it to Grant.
Yeah, and this wasn't just a casual handover or a gift. Apparently, it initiated a significant astral working on Grant's part. It marked a new, crucial phase in Lam's history and its evolving perception within esoteric circles.
So the torch was passed, in a way.
You could say that. This act of transference from Crowley to Grant cemented a powerful lineage and ensured a continued magical investigation into Lam's nature. Grant's role then became absolutely central in developing the understanding of Lam.
How so?
His extensive work, especially in the 1960s and beyond, documented in his highly influential books like Shadow and Outer and The Circles of Time.
Right, Grant's books are quite famous in those circles.
They are, and they profoundly expanded the understanding of Lam. He meticulously transformed it from just a portrait or a symbol into what he described as a truly transmundane or extraterrestrial entity.
So he really ran with the idea.
He didn't just inherit the image, he deeply plumbed its meaning and its operational context within practical magic. Consequently, the O.T.O's emphasis in the 1960s shifted significantly.
How did it shift?
They moved beyond just theoretical study to focus specifically on the direct discovery and engagement with this entity through active magical means. It became a living, active focus for their magical explorations. A deliberate push towards experiential contact, not just intellectual understanding.
So the idea evolves from symbol to asserted actual entity. And then the discussion moves into territory that sounds, well, almost indistinguishable from science fiction. Talk of extraterrestrial entities.
Right.
This is where many people might understandably start to feel the ground shift beneath their feet, you know, blurring the lines between magic, spirituality, and speculative fiction. How does the statement itself handle that sci-fi association?
That's where it gets particularly intriguing for a modern listener because the sources explicitly address the idea of extraterrestrial entities.
They tackle it head on.
They do. They acknowledge quite directly that this concept can sometimes lead to difficulties with science fiction associations. prompting skepticism, maybe even dismissal from some.
Understandable.
However, the document emphasizes that there's a wealth of material, suggesting a deeper, non-fictional reality behind these claims. It even specifically references Robert Temple's The Sirius Mystery.
Oh, The Sirius Mystery, the book about the Dogon tribe and Sirius B.
That's the one. Published in 1976, explores the possibility of ancient contact with extraterrestrial intelligence, focusing on the Dogon's complex astronomical knowledge.
So they're trying to ground it a bit, using that kind of fringe science reference.
It seems that way, yeah. Lending a kind of controversial but presented as factual credibility to the magical claims. But then the statement carefully clarifies the nature of these visitors. It offers a really profound distinction.
What distinction?
They could be from outer space in a literal physical sense, actual alien beings from other planets. Or, and this is the crucial, more mind-bending interpretation, they could be up from the depths of some inner space.
Inner space. Like consciousness itself.
Exactly. This dual interpretation is profoundly important because it challenges conventional notions of reality. It implies the alien might not be arriving in a spaceship, but rather emerging from unexplored territories of consciousness, or maybe unseen dimensions coexisting with our own reality.
That's a radical idea.
It is, and the document then makes a truly profound philosophical point by challenging what it calls the dualist notion.
The dualist notion.
It states that the very dichotomy of inner and outer consciousness is a product of our own dualistic thinking. It argues that there is in fact nothing outer consciousness, which is a continuum.
Wow. Consciousness is a continuum, no inner versus outer.
That's the key insight. It's not just about contacting aliens, it's a radical redefinition of reality and our place within it, suggesting a unified field of consciousness where boundaries between self and other, internal and external, begin to dissolve entirely.
That changes everything, potentially.
It really does. And this concept of going beyond is apparently further explored in the publication Starfire.
Starfire, the Thelemic Journal?
Right. A long-running journal and anthology for advanced magical research. The Lam material is explicitly intended as a reader for that work, suggesting that engaging with Lam is like a preparatory step for understanding and experiencing the advanced concepts explored in Starfire. It shows a continuous evolving exploration within the O.T.O tradition.
That's truly radical collapsing the inner-outer distinction, asserting consciousness as a continuum. If there's no true outer consciousness, then what does that imply for contact? Is it more internal shift than external encounter, even if it feels external?
That's the core question it raises, isn't it?
And how does an established organization like the O.T.O formalize something this profound and seemingly abstract into a practical, actionable cult?
Well, our sources include a formal statement directly from the Ordo Templi Orientis itself, specifically titled, A Statement of the O.T.O Concerning the Cult of Lam, the Dikpala of the Way of Silence.
An official statement, so this isn't just theory.
Far from it. It's an official, institutional stance directly from the O.T.O, lending significant weight and authority to the claims and practices outlined. It unmistakably signifies the organization is formally endorsing and actively facilitating this specific magical current.
And what does the statement say about how they reached this point?
It details that the O.T.O's sovereign sanctuary, that's its highest governing body, has been actively and meticulously involved.
Okay.
They have regularized and examined results of previous magical work concerning Lam. Regularized means, standardizing it, bringing it into a defined system.
Right.
And examined results implies a systematic, almost empirical investigation. Experienced practitioners reviewing and verifying outcomes of magical workings.
So like research.
Exactly. Based on this rigorous process, they have now confirmed established contact with Lam. This isn't presented as a maybe. It's declared as a verified reality within their magical framework.
Established contact. That's a strong claim.
It is. Consequently, they have formally established an inner cult of this Dikpala.
A cult. And Dikpala. What does that mean again?
Dikpala. It's a Sanskrit word meaning guardian or direction protector. It reinforces Lam's role not just as an entity, but as a guide, a gatekeeper, a presiding force over specific realms or directions within the magical cosmos.
Okay, guardian. And the purpose of founding this cult?
The express purpose is amassing precise accounts of such contacts. It signifies a structured collective effort to deepen and meticulously document these interactions, like a research project within the order.
Documenting the contacts.
Yes. The ultimate goal is to detail this rapport of rapport, which implies a deep, multi-layered reciprocal connection through the systematic application of liber e vel exercitiorum.
Liber E, that's a basic O.T.O training text, right?
It is. Outlines basic magical training, meditation, ritual practice, a foundational guide. They also aim to connect this work to the double current, 93606.
93606, the limbic numbers. 93 is Selema and Agape, will and love. What's 606?
606 is associated with Corazon, the entity representing dispersion of the ego, the void, faced in advanced magical work.
Wow. So Lam communion isn't just simple contact, it's tied into navigating will, love, and confronting chaos.
That's how it's presented. This entire initiative is framed as part of a larger magical revival. The aim is to construct a precise magical formula for establishing direct communion with Lam, thereby reigniting powerful magical currents and making such contact more accessible and understood within the order.
So we're unequivocally moving from abstract theory to structured magical practice. The O.T.O isn't just acknowledging Lam, they're actively formalizing and encouraging communion. That leads me to wonder, how exactly does one do that? How do you attempt rapport with something like this? Is it just quiet contemplation, or are there specific steps?
This section is really the practical core of the statement. It lays out the direct methodology. It meticulously outlines the magical procedure for communion with Lam. They call it entering the egg or the head.
Entering the egg.
And it's emphatically not a casual meditation or some fleeting visualization. It's described as a specific, structured method, carefully designed to induce profound, altered states of consciousness and facilitate direct contact with Lam. Presented almost like a spiritual algorithm, a technology for consciousness exploration.
A technology. Okay. And the portrait itself plays a key role.
A crucial dynamic role. It functions as a yantra.
A yantra, like in Eastern traditions.
Yeah.
A visual focus.
Exactly. A visual tool for concentration and meditation. A visual anchor. In this context, the Lam portrait is the primary visual focus for this magical revival, a precise instrument to aid concentration and orient consciousness.
And the head, as the egg of spirit symbolism, keeps coming up.
Constantly reiterated, powerfully reinforcing the idea of this egg-like form as both a container of consciousness and a vehicle for spiritual journey.
A vehicle.
And a key mechanism in this process is the concept of projecting consciousness through the eyes of the practitioner.
Projecting consciousness through your eyes into the portrait.
That's the idea. It interacts with the image of Lam, suggests a direct energetic link, an active outflowing of awareness, almost as if your inner gaze extends into the portrait itself. Furthermore, the source makes a fascinating observation. Lam's depicted without ears.
Right, I noticed that. Why?
Suggests profound connection to the silent, or wordless eon of Zain. In Thelemic cosmology, Zain is associated with silence, often representing a higher state of consciousness or a hidden spiritual current, where communication transcends conventional senses, especially sound.
So communication beyond words.
It implies that communication with Lam and the experiences derived from it are meant to occur on a plane beyond spoken language or hearing, moving into a realm of pure intuition or direct knowing.
Okay, let's really unpack this. The document lays out a specific step-by-step process. For someone hearing this, it might sound incredibly abstract, but the source details a rigorous method. Walk us through it. What would you actually do step by step if you were attempting this communion?
Absolutely. The procedure is broken down into 7 distinct steps, each with a specific purpose, guiding the practitioner towards contact.
Okay, step 1.
First, sit in silence before the portrait. This emphasizes cultivating an initial passive receptive state, creating quietude externally and internally, letting mental chatter subside, preparing consciousness to be open, sensitive to subtle impressions, deep receptivity.
Makes sense. Step 2.
Second, silently invoke the name of Lam. Not speaking aloud, but focusing internal sound and intention, resonating with the name within your own being. The power is in the mental vibration, deep focus, building an energetic connection internally, an inner calling.
Okay, inner invocation. Step 3, this sounds like where the action happens.
And third, yes, this is where the core experience begins. The instruction is, if response is felt, but not before, enter the egg or merge with that, which will emanate from out through the entity's eyes. One opens now to the votary's alien world.
If response is felt, so you wait for something.
Seems so. This is the pivotal moment of contact. The source explains this is where adumbrations of identity with Lam begin. Adumbrations meaning subtle, shadowy glimpses of merging, becoming one with Lam.
Merging with Lam.
And the practitioner experiences a strong sense of the unreality or unfamiliarity of the objective universe.
So reality starts to feel unreal.
Exactly. A profound, disorienting shift. The familiar world might suddenly feel less solid, dreamlike, alien itself as ordinary reality dissolves. This step describes an experiential merging, a conscious shift into a state where the alien world is directly perceived, engaged with. Often feels like entering the portrait, or its essence entering you.
Intense. Okay, step 4.
Fourth, seal the egg, i.e. close the eyes of Lam and await developments. This signifies a critical transition from active engagement to passive reception of internal changes, energetic integration.
Closing the eyes of Lam, symbolically or...
Likely symbolically, within the visualization or mental space. It's about internalizing the experience, letting energies and insights integrate and unfold within consciousness without further external seeking. Quiet assimilation.
Okay, step 5. How do you come back?
Fifth, crucial for safety. At the first sign of stress or fatigue, return to mundane consciousness by opening the eyes and by gazing out of the egg in a form determined by the experiences. Emphasizes managing the experience responsibly, having a controlled, deliberate return.
So you don't push it too far.
Right. A key safety measure. Ensuring the practitioner doesn't overextend, can properly integrate the shifts without undue psychic strain. The form determined by the experiences suggests the return process might be unique each time, maybe involving a specific visualization or cue that emerged during contact.
Got it. Step 6. After you're back.
Sixth, after returning, perform astrally the banishing ritual of the pentagram of Earth in the 8 spaces and record all experiences in detail.
Banishing ritual. To clear the space.
Exactly. The banishing ritual of the pentagram of Earth is fundamental in Thelema. Clears energy, banishes unwanted influences, closes energetic connections open during the working, ensures a clean, protected field. Performing it astrally means on the subtle, non-physical plane.
And meticulous record keeping.
Absolutely vital, like a scientist's lab notes, paying particular attention to things like lunar phases, celestial and, where applicable, terrestrial, and any physical phenomena accompanying the experience.
Lunar phases. Physical phenomena like
temperature changes, subtle sounds, visual distortions, shifts in body sensation. It's done to identify patterns, correlations, find objective validation for subjective experiences.
Okay, very thorough. And the final step, number 7. This one sounds complex.
Finally, step 7 describes a more advanced, significantly more complex preparatory invocation for Lam. It clarifies that invocation of Lam should be performed only in a fully protected circle.
A protected circle. Sacred space.
Right, which involves banishing in the 8 directions of space with the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram of Earth.
More banishing for purification.
Yes, followed by the invoking ritual of the hexagram of Earth, which is an act of drawing in specific desired planetary or divine energies, creating a charged, conducive atmosphere.
Okay, banish then invoke.
Then proceed with a direct invocation of Eosic and intense aspiration to Yuggoth, Kether, and the Great Old Ones.
Whoa. Eosic, Yuggoth, Great Old Ones. That sounds Lovecraftian.
It is a fascinating intersection of Thelemic magic and H.P. Lovecraft's cosmic horror. Eosic is a powerful entity in Kenneth Grant's extended cosmology, often linked to deep outer consciousness, sometimes the Cthulhu mythos.
Okay.
Yuggoth is Lovecraft's fictional planet, but here it's deeply associated with Kether, the highest point on the Kabbalistic tree of life, divine unity, the source.
So mixing Lovecraft with Kabbalah.
Seems so. And the Great Old Ones are Lovecraft's cosmic entities, ancient beings representing vast, indifferent forces, which Grant integrates as archetypal forces of outer space or deep consciousness.
Mind-bending.
Only after this rigorous, multifaceted preparation purification, invoking specific forces, aspiration to cosmic principles, does the actual Lam meditation commence. That's the culmination, where the deepest communion is sought.
This is an incredibly detailed and rigorous set of instructions. It really sounds less like a casual spiritual exercise and more like a precise spiritual discipline. Definitely not something to be taken lightly.
Absolutely not. It's clearly structured, ritualized, requires significant commitment.
And it also highlights the profound importance of individual experience within this framework, which leads to some very specific guidelines for participants in this Cult of Lam, doesn't it?
Indeed. Our sources provide very clear, explicit instructions on how this cult is meant to operate, emphasizing a highly independent, almost scientific approach to gathering data from these profound, often subjective experiences.
How so? What are the guidelines?
First and foremost, concerning individual work, the statement is unequivocal. Group working is considered inadvisable.
No group sessions.
It explicitly states, each votary should work in isolation, or only with his or her magical partner. Nothing should be performed in the coven. The rationale seems practical in a magical context. Avoid interference from others' energies, intentions, expectations.
To keep the experience pure.
Right. Ensure individual clarity of contact, purity of the direct experience, preventing potential shared delusion, unconscious mirroring, or just blending results. The aim is for truly distinct, verifiable individual results.
Makes sense.
This leads directly to the next crucial point: the unawareness of other members' identities within the cult. Anonymity.
They don't know who else is doing it.
Apparently not. This anonymity is considered important if objective or so-called scientific evidence of contact is to be obtained.
Wow, like a double-blind study for mystical experience.
It really speaks to a strong desire within the O.T.O. to gather verifiable individual results, rather than relying on group consensus or potentially imagined shared experiences. It's a unique blend of mystical pursuit and an almost empirical, data-driven methodology.
Fascinating. What else?
The statement also stresses this isn't a quick fix or a one-time thing. It explicitly acknowledges it may take years to accumulate significant evidence of contact.
So long-term commitment, patience, persistence.
Exactly. Suggesting profound mystical contact is a gradual process of development, refinement, consistent effort. Lam is further reinforced throughout as the gateway.
The gateway, right.
Powerfully signifying its fundamental role as a facilitator, allowing communion with those who lie beyond our immediate perceptions, other dimensions, intelligences, hidden aspects of consciousness.
It mentions a priestess.
Interestingly, yes, the possibility of communion with a priestess chosen by Lam, or one who possesses certain characteristics, indicating a specific channel or type of individual who might be particularly attuned, perhaps through innate sensitivity or some karmic connection.
And what about the kind of contact?
The current stage is approached cautiously. The statement advises participants to confine explorations to mental and/or astral modes of intercourse at the present time.
Mental and astral only, for now. It suggests a progression.
It implies a deliberate progression. Yeah, a staged approach. Suggests deeper, maybe physical modes are either not yet understood, not advised for safety, or require further mastery of these subtle realms first.
I'm looking ahead.
The document notes the order of the cult can and will, if necessary, be formed to accommodate other modes of working, implying an adaptive, evolving structure ready to adjust practices and expand methods as more knowledge and experience are accumulated. It shows the cult is designed to grow with its members' discoveries.
So what we have here is a very solitary, almost academic approach to the mystical, emphasizing personal, rigorous experience and meticulous documentation rather than traditional group ritual.
That's a good way to put it.
It certainly makes you wonder why this particular cult focused on this specific, powerful entity. Why was it founded at this precise moment in time? What's the driving esoteric force behind formalizing it?
Well, the source directly addresses why the cult has been founded at this time.
It does. What does it say?
It states unequivocally that its establishment is due to strong intimations received from Aleister Crowley's 718.
Aleister Crowley's 718. That sounds specific, a spiritual imperative.
It suggests exactly that establishing this cult isn't a human decision alone, but a direct response to higher guiding forces or communications within their specific magical system.
And Aleister Crowley's 718. What does that signify?
That designation appears at the very end of the document. It implies a specific magical current, a powerful entity, or maybe even a high-ranking initiate informing and authorizing the O.T.O. leadership. The number 718 is Kenneth Grant's own magical number.
718 is Grant's number, like 666 was Crowley's, so a direct influence from Grant's work.
Seems very likely, and there's a particularly fascinating detail here. The number 718 is explicitly related to the effect that the portrait of Lam, the original drawing of which was given by 666 to 718, has had.
So the effect of the portrait itself, given from Crowley 666 to Grant 718, is part of the reason.
It directly ties the existence and influence of the physical portrait to the magical forces and entities at play. Suggests a symbiotic relationship, the artifact, as a conduit for non-physical energies, and that the transmission of this knowledge and authority came directly from Crowley to Grant.
Okay. And the source uses that strange phrase positioned and perhaps transplutonian.
Yes, when describing this influence. Transplutonian meaning beyond Pluto's orbit, beyond our current understanding of the solar system, implying a placement or influence extending across vast cosmic distances or into extra-dimensional locations.
Reinforcing the otherworldly nature.
Definitely. And this profound knowledge and imperative were apparently communicated via an eightfold way.
The eightfold way, like Buddhism. Or something else?
It suggests a specific, multifaceted path or channel through which this imperative was imparted to the O.T.O., perhaps referring to the 8 paths on the middle pillar of the Tree of Life, or a complete cycle of mystical transmission, indicating a structured, deliberate transmission from these other realms.
So the why is intrinsically connected to these profound intimations, a sort of cosmic instruction delivered through specific magical channels. But what's the ultimate goal? What are they trying to achieve with this deep dive into Lam beyond just making contact? Is it knowledge for its own sake, or is there a practical, transformative application?
The stated aim is truly twofold, and it's quite ambitious. Firstly, yes, to gain deeper insight into the nature of Lam itself, its origins, purpose, influence, position in the cosmic scheme.
Okay, understanding Lam.
But also, crucially, to explore the possibility of using the egg as an astral space capsule for traveling to Lam's domain or for exploring extraterrestrial spaces.
An astral space capsule. Okay, now we're really pushing boundaries. Traveling to Lam's domain.
That's the idea, moving beyond communication into active, conscious exploration of other realms, from receptive contact to active journeying.
And this astral space capsule, how should we understand that?
It's compelling, isn't it? It doesn't imply a physical spaceship, obviously, but rather a means of spiritual or consciousness-based travel, leveraging the potent symbolism of the egg as a contained, self-sufficient vehicle for such inner journeys, a way for consciousness to traverse distances beyond the physical.
Consciousness as the vehicle.
And the document then explicitly connects this to the tunnels of Set, described as the very means of this exploration as intracosmic and ecthonian capsules.
The tunnels of Set. What are those? Sounds dark.
It's a crucial concept in certain occult cosmologies, especially influenced by Kenneth Grant. The tunnels of Set refer to hidden, shadowy pathways connecting the Clyptothic tree, often seen as the inverse or shadow side of the Tree of Life.
The shadow side, okay.
These are considered darker, Clyptothic spheres of consciousness associated with chaos, disembodied forces. These tunnels are essentially energetic ley lines or pathways in unseen dimensions, allowing practitioners to bypass conventional reality. Intracosmic means within the cosmos, but not necessarily physical space as we know it. And chthonian refers to the underworld or subconscious depths.
So the journey isn't just outer space, but potentially through subconscious depths or unseen, challenging dimensions.
That seems to be the implication. It truly takes exploration to a mystical extreme, leveraging ancient magical concepts and Lovecraftian lore to conceptualize interdimensional travel.
For you, the listener, this really connects to that universal human fascination with exploration, doesn't it? Discovery, transcending limitations, even if the methods are deeply esoteric.
It taps into that deep-seated desire to know what lies beyond, to break free from the known boundaries of existence and consciousness.
This truly takes the concept of a deep dive to a whole new level. It's not just about understanding, but about actively journeying into these other realms, using consciousness as the vehicle. It genuinely reflects that joy of discovery, pushing beyond the mundane. And what's fascinating is that this isn't just speculative theory. It's all formalized within a very specific organizational structure, with clear guidelines for those who wish to embark on this journey.
Exactly. Our sources conclude with the practical details for anyone within the O.T.O. who feels strongly drawn to this unique path. It's quite clear this cult is not for everyone. There are very specific requirements, emphasizing a highly selective and dedicated approach.
Who is it for then?
The target audience is explicitly defined as members of the O.T.O. who feel strongly attracted to this cult of Lam. So not a general invitation. It's for those already deeply engaged in the Order's work who feel a particular, maybe even visceral resonance with the Lam current.
And the application process.
Equally formal and rigorous. Interested members must contact Frater Aniasig, 975 degrees of the Sovereign Sanctuary O.T.O. The 975 degrees indicates a very high degree, a senior authoritative figure. The applicant must also submit a formal, typewritten, and signed acceptance of the conditions of working outlined here. This highlights the formality, the seriousness. It's a profound commitment requiring official acknowledgement and explicit agreement to strict guidelines.
And it's exclusive to O.T.O. members.
Clearly stated, it is open only to Order members, reinforcing that the Cult of Lam is an internal, specialized branch built on a foundation of existing knowledge, practice, and initiation within the broader order.
So it's a specific internal branch, almost like a specialized research division focused on this very specific current. Does participation in this cult affect one's standing in the main order, or is it a parallel path? How does that work?
That's an excellent question, and our sources are quite clear. It should be understood that proficiency in the magical formula of this cult does not necessarily comport eligibility for advancement in the O.T.O, its parent order.
Ah, so success in the cult doesn't mean you get promoted in the main O.T.O?
Exactly. It's a crucial point. It indicates the Cult of Lam is indeed a specialized, distinct path within the broader O.T.O framework. Success or advancement within the cult, like profound contact or breakthroughs in entering the egg, doesn't automatically translate to higher degrees or hierarchical advancement in the main order.
Interesting. So the focus is on the specific knowledge and experience, not rank.
It suggests a very deliberate focus on acquiring unique insights and profound experiences within this current, rather than seeing it as a direct ladder of power or prestige. Its value lies in what it provides, not its contribution to one's formal standing.
And the document has official backing.
Yes, it's officially endorsed by the O.H.O of O.T.O, which stands for Outer Head of the Order, the highest authority. This endorsement, along with the publication details London and Miami Spring Equinox 1987 EV, reinforces its authenticity and official backing.
Spring Equinox 1987, using astrologically significant dates.
Common practice in esoteric traditions for formal releases like this. EV meaning era vulgaris or common era.
It's truly fascinating how specific and self-contained this deep dive into Lam truly is. Yet how far-reaching its implications are for understanding consciousness, reality itself. It presents this highly structured, almost scientific approach to something incredibly abstract, tying it back to a tangible, if esoteric tradition with clear rules. So, let's recap. We've journeyed through the origins of the enigmatic Lam portrait with Aleister Crowley.
Right.
Understood its profound evolution through Kenneth Grant's dedicated work into this concept of a transmundane or extraterrestrial entity, and even delved into the precise, rigorous magical procedures outlined by the O.T.O for achieving communion. We've seen how this isn't merely abstract theory, but a practical, if highly specialized form of magical exploration, complete with clear guidelines for those brave and committed enough to undertake it.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how this single document masterfully connects historical figures, ancient mystical concepts like the Dikpala and the profound teachings of the Voice of the Silence, with modern, meticulously defined esoteric practices.
Yeah, it pulls it all together.
And it all culminates in that bold assertion of using the egg as an astral space capsule to explore realms far beyond our conventional understanding. It deeply challenges our very definition of contact and reality. It prompts us to consider that the boundaries we perceive might be far more fluid, more permeable than we typically imagine.
Definitely.
This document isn't just about understanding the occult. It's about pushing the very envelope of what it means to be a seeker of knowledge in its most profound sense.
So what does all of this mean for you, the listener? If consciousness is indeed a seamless continuum, as the source suggests, and there's no true outer consciousness distinct from an inner one,
Right.
then perhaps the intricate pathways described in the Lam Statement are less about meeting an external alien intelligence in a spaceship and more about journeying into uncharted territories of your own mind. It leaves us with a truly compelling question. What gateways might lie within your own perception waiting to be discovered, just waiting for you, perhaps, to go this way?
It really raises an important and deeply personal question. When we seek to understand the other, whether it's an extraterrestrial being, a mystical entity, an ancient deity, are we ultimately discovering something profound about ourselves, about the boundless, uncharted nature of consciousness itself?
And is the core of it, maybe?
Consider what it truly means to go beyond the familiar, to step outside the perceived boundaries of your own reality, and how that profound journey might forever transform your understanding of existence itself.